Hello once again to OCA 0% LTC. This is chapter 6. This chapter is usually kind of annoying, to say the least. There's a lot of reinforcements at the end of the map, and they usually hold up your forces by a lot. Thankfully, we won't see even a bit of them. Um, So, our first idea is just to get Alchemist, of course, over to closer to the gate. And our beginning group over here on the bottom left, just gonna hang out and kill enemies. That's actually it. In fact, they more exist just to distract the enemy from attacking Sven and making him take damage. Otherwise, he would then have a chance of dying later on in the map. As for the group on the right, we're clearing out some enemies, while also trying to get Ornst down to this little section down here. Martel will also make an appearance, as we want him to go over to the village at the bottom. It's the only village of the two on this map that we'll be getting, but it's still nice to get. The bottom one has an axe rifle, and we won't be getting one of those any other way for a while. The one at the top left has a speed wing, but it's not very viable to get to. Here we can see the first dodge that's kind of necessary, which is that dodge of the mage. Technically, we didn't really need to lure over the mage, because it can be avoided. But since we need to lure over the mercenary and not accidentally get ourselves killed, it's nice to just bring them over anyway. Also, it allows us to get a little bit more weapon XP for Chiara. Here we see the invisible vendor. For some reason, the vendor and armory on this map are invisible. Why? I have no clue. But we already had an armory we could have visited in the last map that wasn't really necessary. So this time, we'll just visit the vendor this time and instead buy a flux and a heal, as we're getting low on both. Here, the enemies are just going to attack who they have the highest chance of dealing damage to. And we also have Beatrice lure over that knight, so we have less chance of getting screwed over in terms of movement later. Here, Sven gets a not super reliable hand axe hit, but is obviously more reliable due to 2RN than it appears. The reason why we want that hand axe hit to happen is because we need Martel to kill the mage on next turn's player phase so that he can get over to the village. The rest of the map is pretty straightforward, as we just take care of the bottom left enemies, while keeping our formation up so that the mercenary can't attack our healer. And otherwise, it's pretty straightforward. Here we have Sven drop off Ornst, while also giving Sven Alchemist from Gorwolf so that Sven can drop off Alchemists on the next Tauren. Ornst isn't going to kill the boss immediately next Tauren, but we want to lure over the knight to the left generally, also just because it makes it easier to guarantee that he won't get in the way of getting to the gate with Alchemists later. So on this Tauren, Wyvern Riders spawn, and they're pretty annoying. But thankfully, we won't really have to deal with them too much. While we will use them to feed a kill to Sven, we have no real need otherwise to do too much with them. We see here that Martel has to go to this precise position, and the reason why is because that way he will be out of a Wyvern Rider's range, and he'll only be in range of the archer that we see there. It doesn't matter if that archer hits or not, because either way, he's not too dangerous. Either way, we get the Axe Reaver, and this is just wrap up at this point, as we rig a crit with Ornst on the boss, and then we just take care of some enemies for a little bit of weapon EXP, or just normal EXP, depending on who it is. Here we're going to see where I should have used a lance with Negu, and the reason for that is because I wanted to get a heal to be able to be done on this Tauren. But a lance is the only way to reliably get hit at all. So honestly, pretty dumb on my part. But oh well. And that's this chapter in 6 Taurens. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.